Hello, everyone. I'm CC Movie. Many people spend their entire lives making two gentle mistakes. They constantly try to forcefully change those closest to them, and they always try to win the affection of those around them in childish ways. As a former star who was once the center of attention, Liv is used to living a glamorous life, and she can't help but define the beauty around her through her own aesthetic. In her eyes, her twin sister Maddie is lively and cheerful, loves sports, and lives a carefree life, yet she's always dressed in tracksuits and sneakers, exuding a boyish crispness that lacks the tenderness and refinement typical of a girl. Deep down, Liv harbors a small obsession. She wants Maddie to experience a gentle, elegant side of herself and discover a different version of who she is. So she carefully selected a pair of exquisite high heels, convinced that these shoes would work like magic to completely transform Maddie. Liv expected Maddie to find them awkward and uncomfortable at first, to try them reluctantly, and eventually grow accustomed to elegant attire. But she never imagined that this well-intentioned makeover would ultimately turn into a chaotic farce. At first, Maddie was completely resistant, deeply averse to high heels, something so delicate yet restrictive. Having spent years playing basketball, running, jumping, and roughhousing, she had long grown accustomed to the loose comfort of sneakers. In her view, high heels were flashy but impractical, restricting movement and nothing more than a superfluous burden. But when she finally gave in to her sister and stood up in high heels for the first time, a magical sensation instantly swept over her. Her posture was upright, her gait light. She had shed her former clumsiness and gained a confidence and elegance she had never known before. In that moment, Maddie was completely captivated. She had never seen such a gentle, refined version of herself before. A sense of novelty and fulfillment welled up within her, and she became deeply immersed in the unique experience that high heels offered. From then on, Maddie was a completely different person. She discarded the sneakers that had been her daily companions and stubbornly wore high heels everywhere, whether going to school, running errands, or even during her most important basketball practices. She relished the sense of presence she exuded while walking, and was captivated by this unique sense of refinement. Even when it was extremely inconvenient, she refused to take them off. She even missed a basketball game she had previously considered her most important one. Her friends repeatedly tried to dissuade her, and her family kept reminding her, but Maddie, consumed by her obsession, simply wouldn't listen. Watching her stubborn and headstrong younger sister, Liv felt nothing but helplessness, her heart filled with bittersweet regret. Her intentions had been pure. She'd wanted her sister to try a new style and gain a new experience. She never imagined that her well-meaning gesture would instead push her sister to extremes. She finally realized that everyone has their own comfort zone, and that each person's personality and lifestyle are irreplaceable. Forcing change on others is never an act of kindness, but a clumsy intrusion. In the end, Liv asked one of Maddie's friends to help her take off the high heels. The moment Maddie slipped them off, she reflected deeply on her recent behavior. In pursuit of so-called novelty, she had abandoned her beloved basketball stance and lost sight of her most authentic, comfortable self. While elegance is certainly beautiful, it is her unrestrained, carefree, and uninhibited nature that truly defines who she is. The annual Pioneer Camp Mother-Daughter Challenge has become a special tradition for Mom Karen and her daughter Marty. For 4 whole years, they've competed side by side with perfect harmony, working together toward their cherished goal of winning the gold medal butter churn. These are exclusive memories belonging only to the two of them, warm moments that no one else can intrude upon. In the past, Liv spent most of her time filming in Hollywood and missed all the family gatherings, never giving it much thought. But after returning home and spending every day with them, watching the close bond between her mother and sister, and seeing their special little agreements and unique little joys, a deep sense of bitterness and jealousy began to grow in Liv's heart. Watching the two of them prepare for the competition together, discuss strategies, and look forward to the trophy, a sense of loss built up layer by layer within her. She envied this exclusive closeness immensely, and feared even more that she was a superfluous outsider. In countless moments, she silently felt wronged. Did Mom favor the sensible and thoughtful Matilda more? Had her years of absence from the family meant she no longer belonged to this exclusive warmth? Swept up by possessiveness and a sense of loss, Liv completely lost her bearings and came up with a childish and absurd idea: to seize this exclusive companionship, to create her own special memories with her mom. She specifically invited her fake mom from the set, Bree, to impersonate her real mother. Her plan was to replace Karen and participate in this mother-daughter challenge. The Pioneers' competition consisted entirely of grueling wilderness challenges, chopping wood, doing laundry, surviving in the wild, and battling leeches, each task arduous and humiliating. The pampered Bree was completely unable to adapt to the harsh wilderness environment and was terrified by the leeches. Liv was left to hold the fort alone, struggling to stay on the course, looking both bedraggled and heartbreaking. This deliberately orchestrated farce ultimately turned into a disaster that was both laughable and tragic. Soon, her mother Karen discovered the whole truth. Seeing her daughter feigning strength while feeling deeply wronged, she didn't blame her in the slightest. To help the bedraggled Liv escape her predicament, Karen made an exception and used her credit card to deal with the leeches, but because this violated the Pioneers' competition rules, she was immediately disqualified. 4 years of perseverance and a trophy within reach vanished in an instant. Everyone assumed Liv was obsessed with the competition and her ranking, but once she shed all pretense, she finally revealed the tenderest secret of her heart. She had never cared about trophies or honors. She was simply too lonely and too jealous. Watching her mother and younger sister share their own special memories, she simply longed desperately to have a piece of her mother's affection that was hers alone, something she wouldn't have to share. The regret of her long-term absence from the family, coupled with her inner anxiety and sense of loss, left her with no choice but to seek the warmest companionship through the most childish means. Hearing her daughter's heartfelt words, Karen's eyes instantly welled up with tears, her heart filled with tenderness and compassion. She gently embraced the heartbroken Liv and soothed her restless emotions. Family love is never meant to be monopolized, and love is never partial. A mother's love for her 2 daughters has always been full and equal. In that moment, Liv was completely set free. She finally understood that family bonds don't require competition, and that a family's love always embraces all anxieties and childishness. And Maddie also realized that behind her sister's seemingly capricious and mischievous behavior lay only a small, tender desire to be favored and cherished. 2 small storms, 2 gentle moments of growth. The sisters finally understood that the most comfortable way to get along with loved ones is never to force change or deliberately try to possess them. Accepting each other's differences, tolerating each other's childishness, cherishing the everyday moments spent together, not vying for favoritism, not forcing change, but letting things take their natural course and staying by each other's side with tenderness. This is the truest form of family love. Those absurd yet endearing little obsessions and whims of adolescence ultimately become the nourishment for growth, making this bond between the twins ever more pure and enduring.